I'll bleed his accounts dry, she laughed to her sisters. I didn't react. At the reading of her mother's will, her lawyer went pale, looked at me, and whispered, I don't understand. Who is he? I'll bleed his accounts dry. She didn't even lower her voice. The words slid across the table like a blade. Casual, polished, meant to cut without resistance. Her sisters laughed. Soft, familiar, complicit. I stood in the doorway unseen. Or maybe they saw me and didn't care anymore. That would have been worse. I mean it, she added, sipping her coffee. He thinks he's in control. It's almost adorable. More laughter. My name wasn't mentioned. It didn't need to be. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. Didn't react. Because something colder than anger had already settled inside me. Clarity. Not the loud kind. Not the kind that demands action. The quiet kind. The kind that watches. Waits. Calculates. I stepped back before the floor creaked. Walked away before my presence became part of their joke. No confrontation. No slammed doors. No questions. Just silence. That night, she kissed me like nothing had changed. Warm lips, familiar scent, carefully practiced affection. I kissed her back. Perfectly, because by then, I already knew something was wrong. I just didn't know how deep it went. It started with small things. It always does. Late replies. A phone turned face down. Laughter that didn't belong to me. I noticed everything. Said nothing. Because the moment you speak, you lose your advantage, and I wasn't ready to lose anything yet. She began disappearing into other rooms to take calls. Short ones, whispered, controlled. When I asked, she smiled. Just family. Always family. Her favorite lie. I started paying attention to patterns. Timing. Behavior. The subtle shifts most people ignore because they're too afraid of what they might find. But I wasn't afraid. Not anymore. One night, she fell asleep with her phone unlocked. A mistake. A rare one. I didn't rush. Didn't scroll like a desperate man looking for confirmation. I moved slowly, deliberately, like I was already certain of what I'd find. There were messages. Of course there were. But they weren't romantic. Not at first glance. They were worse. Calculated. Transactional. Once everything transfers, we move. He has no idea. I told you just a little longer. I read them twice. Then a third time. Not because I didn't understand, but because I needed to feel how carefully I had been played. This wasn't impulsive betrayal. This was architecture. Built over time, brick by brick. And I'd been living inside it, blind. Her lover wasn't just a lover. He was part of a plan. A quiet extraction. Money, assets, control. And me, I was the source. I placed the phone back exactly where it was. Turned the same way. Same brightness. Same position. Then I lay beside her. Watched her sleep. And for the first time, I didn't see my wife. I saw a stranger wearing her face. I didn't confront her. That's what she expected. Emotion. Reaction. Weakness. Instead, I gave her consistency. Routine. Comfort. I became predictable. Because predictable people are easy to underestimate. And underestimated people win. I started digging. Quietly. Bank records first. Not the obvious ones. The ones she thought I never checked. Small transfers. Hidden under routine expenses. Gradual. Careful. Brilliant, actually. If I hadn't been looking, I would have missed it. Then came the names. Accounts linked to shell identities. One of them stood out. Repeated. Consistent. Connected. I traced it further. Documents. Registrations. A man. Not a ghost. Not a fantasy. Real. Present. Close. Too close. I watched her more closely after that. Every smile felt rehearsed. Every touch. Strategic. And yet she never slipped. Not once. Which meant one thing. She wasn't just playing a game. She believed she had already won. That realization did something to me. It didn't hurt. It sharpened. I began preparing. Legal groundwork. Silent consultations. Ownership structures adjusted. Assets relocated. Not removed. Just repositioned. Invisible to her. Untouchable. I let her continue. Let her think the plan was working. Because sometimes the best way to destroy something is to let it grow. And then take everything it was built on. The will reading was supposed to be simple. Her mother had passed. Expected. Controlled. Even that felt planned. We sat in a quiet office. Her sisters on one side. Her beside me. Close. Comfortable. Like nothing had ever fractured. The lawyer adjusted his glasses. Nervous. That was the first sign. He began reading. Standard distributions. Property. Jewelry. Cash allocations. Then he paused, looked at a page longer than necessary. Something shifted. Subtle, but real. He looked up. At her. Then at me. His expression changed. Confusion. Disbelief. Fear. I don't understand, he said quietly. Silence filled the room. Heavy. Unforgiving. He swallowed. Then looked directly at me. Who is he? Her hand tightened around mine. Instinctively. Then slowly. She let go. I didn't answer. Didn't need to, because the document in his hand already had. Her mother hadn't been blind. Not like I had. She had seen everything. The manipulation. The plan. The quiet betrayal unfolding inside her own family. And she had rewritten everything. Not to her daughters. Not to the man they were working with. But to me, control, assets, authority, all of it. Transferred. Legally. Irreversibly. The room collapsed into chaos. Voices rising. Questions spilling. Accusations forming. But I stayed still. Because the truth didn't need volume. It only needed presence. She found me later. Alone. Of course she did. Her eyes were different now. Not confident. Not amused. Desperate. You knew, she said. Not a question. A realization. I didn't respond immediately. Let the silence stretch. Let it settle inside her. Like something breaking. I heard you, I said finally. Soft. Controlled. That day. With your sisters. Her face drained. Just a little. Enough! I gave you time, I continued. To stop. She shook her head quickly. It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think. No anger. No raised voice. Just precision. I saw the messages. Silence. I traced the accounts. Still silence. I know him. That one landed. Hard. Her composure cracked. Finally. You don't understand, she whispered. I almost smiled. Because that line, it's always the same. I understand perfectly, I said. You were going to take everything. Her lips trembled. Not from guilt. From loss. Because in that moment, she realized something irreversible. There was nothing left to take. I moved everything months ago, I said. Quiet. Final. And what I didn't move, your mother already gave away. She stared at me like she was seeing me for the first time. Not as her husband, but as something else. Something she hadn't accounted for. You played me, she whispered. I tilted my head slightly. No, I said. You just underestimated me. I left that night. No dramatic exit. No final argument. Just absence. Clean. Complete. I didn't look back. Didn't check if she followed. Didn't care if she cried. Because the truth is, by the time everything collapsed, I had already detached. Emotion doesn't survive prolonged betrayal. It evolves into something colder, sharper, more efficient. She didn't lose me that day. She lost me the moment she believed I was weak enough not to see. And that's the mistake most people make. They confuse silence with ignorance, kindness with vulnerability, love with blindness. But I had been watching, learning, waiting, not for revenge, but for the right moment to stop being a victim and start being the one who walks away with everything. In the end, she didn't bleed my accounts dry. She just proved she never understood who she was dealing with.